welcome to part 2 of me throwing shade at a couple of people and wanting to take give the balanced opinion of that.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Mischa Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Yeah, so I recorded those 2 podcast episodes, and one I was talking about founding members, and how a few of founding members have left, right? So I'd started with 28 founding members of the Influence Army, down to 25. A few people had left. One that was like, hey, basically all of them were swept up, which I love, man. That's so great. Like to create that energy and excitement. And so people get swept up in that and they join, which I love. I've done that myself, and it's actually been the catalyst for major growth, change, positive forward momentum, right? It's like, oh, I joined this thing, now I got to get after it. So I love that idea and I love that concept. But it's also very validating too, of like, oh yeah, I've created energy, excitement, momentum. And people were like, heck yeah, I want in. One person was like, yeah, right away. They were not right away, but, as we went into the opening ceremonies of the Influence Army. So the very first week I did the founding member launch, 28 people came in. The next week I did opening ceremonies, and it was when it came time for the opening ceremonies, someone DM'd me and was like, "Hey, I got no time. I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to do this." And so they pulled out. It was like totally cool, right? And then kind of recently, a couple people were like, "Yeah, I think this." I don't want to say maybe it's not in alignment, or they've got their own strategies that they're doing, and so perhaps this isn't a good time. How do I want to say it? It's not a good fit, right? It's just not a good fit. And I totally appreciate that. And I actually got great feedback from both those parties. One of them as well was like, hey man, this is awesome what you're doing. But he's like, I'm going a different way with what I'm doing, and it's working for him. And so I want to make sure I shed a positive light on that. But that's where I was throwing a little bit of shade. I was like, upplaying it's where I said, hey, I actually don't, it just, how do I want to say this? It was in the last episode, I believe, or one before. But actually, if this is a 2-part episode, which it's looking like it might be, it'd have been 2 episodes ago, 3 episodes ago. I don't know. Anyway, basically, the person that I threw a little shade at, I said, hey, his dream podcast he wanted to talk on was perhaps not business oriented, and he's business oriented and he's extremely good at what he does. But he's like, wouldn't it be fun to speak on, like one of these inspirational podcasts? And hell yeah, I'm the same way, right? Like, even though maybe I'm all about entrepreneur stuff and what I'm doing, like there's podcasts out there, it'd be like, heck yeah, I'd speak on that. Joe Rogan, let's say, or something like that. And so the way I framed it for him was like a little, I would say, condescending on my end, right? So I would apologize for that, my friend, if you happen to listen to that. But here's the rest of the story. That dude was so influential in helping me launch the membership in the first place, right? Because I had an opportunity to talk to him, and and about what I was up to. And he's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Right. And I can be very hypey. And so, and I'm follow up, follow up, follow up. It's one of my gifts until you either say no or yes. Right. So he's like, "Heck yeah, I'm all in, man." Or he didn't say I'm all in. He was very excited for what I was doing. And so I gave him a few opportunities to jump in. He said, "Yeah, I'll jump in and support you." Right. And, uh, and man, I learned so much of my messaging by talking from him too. And, uh, and so he just was so influential. And, uh, and yeah, I was like, yeah, I need to paint the rest of that story. Right. And I don't want to go back and edit out the old episodes or, uh, or, do special intros or outros just to clean my side of the street with what I had said. And I may be totally blowing this out of proportion, but I just think it's valuable to it's a valuable exercise to talk about this. And I thought it'd be fun to show you my process outside of work, show you some a little bit of insight into what I do on maybe a spiritual personal growth side of things. So my friend who I threw a hair of shade at, in hindsight, if I were to listen to that episode again, I might be like, yeah, I didn't throw that much shade. But I just want to say, dude, you were very impactful on me getting my influence army off the ground. Thank you so much. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. And thank you for the messaging you helped me dial in. I just took commentary that he said. He wasn't specifically, you weren't specifically giving me advice or anything, but some of the things that you said on how what I was building would impact you, I totally used in my messaging, and it's awesome. And I also want to say thank you so much for the way you graciously, told me like, "Hey, man, what you're doing is like not a good fit for me right now," because it was really cool and very supportive. So there you go. That's number one. Number two is I've got this coach who helps me so much. Like literally, if it wasn't for this coach, I would not be where I am today. Like the amount of support and love and creativity and time and bouncing ideas back and forth and this and that from this guy has just been crazy. Like, man, and we're good friends and all this stuff. And so sometimes we'll be talking about my podcast or, things that I'm up to, and they'll give me constructive criticism, right? He'll give me constructive criticism. And sometimes I can take that as like, don't like throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? So he could say, "Hey man, sometimes it's nice if you have a structured episode. That can be an effective way to teach, an effective way to get your message across, a very effective way to serve." It's like, I understand you like riffing all the time, but like be aware that a structured episode is very powerful. And, maybe see how some people do that. And I can be like, yeah, well, then I'd never get anything done. I take it to the extreme, And so I believe I said on that previous podcast, I was like, I've got this previous episode 2 or 3 ago. Again, I can't remember the names, but I was like, I've got this coach who can poo-poo my ideas. And if I listen to him, I'd never put anything out there. And, oh my gosh, my friend, I just want to tell you that, that you have been so influential and powerful and impactful in me, and my progress and where I am in this whole digital marketing space. And man, in particular, I'm actually going to do a specific episode on this. He gave me one nugget that like is worth all the money that I pay, like one little nugget, right? So hopefully, my friend, you did not unfollow me. If you took it, my little shade, it was like, man, what are you talking about, Mish? And that you listen to this and you hear me say, hey, thank you so much for your support. Man, because you really just amazing, epic conversations that we've had. So I want to make sure to to give the rest of the story there. I also want to say, while I'm on it, man, I've just got this flood of 5-star reviews and nice comments, written reviews on my podcast of late. So I just want to thank everybody, oh my gosh, so much for your support, because that just is so gratifying. It's really cool to get that and to see that, and just to feel like you're having an impact is awesome. And I'm very much trying to work from the space where none of that matters, but I'd be lying if I said it doesn't all the time, or that, the positive feedback doesn't help keep me moving forward some days. And then, also there's, you got to take the good with the bad, the good with the bad. So I am definitely not for everybody. And, yeah, I'm going to turn this into a 2-part episode for sure. So I'm trying to keep my episodes between 10 and 20 minutes. In a perfect world, they'd be between 10 and 15 minutes. But except for the interviews, I love the long interview. But that's what's going on. Thank you, everybody, for listening. There's a little bit about my process. I try to speak to the wound. Speak to the scar and not the wound. Like, hopefully, if stuff's super raw for anybody out there, I heard this advice and I think it's great. It's like, hey, let the wound heal a little bit before we maybe put that out there. I do believe as well, I'll end with this, and this has just gone on way too long and perhaps is so self-serving. Oh my God, it's so funny. I can't wait to, if I have an opportunity to listen to these, to listen to this. What was I going to say? None of it's that extreme. I just wanted to clear the air on that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Oh my gosh. There you go. Have a good day. I hope you found value. Let me know. Yes or no. Send me an email. Click on go into the show notes, click on the email, send me an email and say, oh yeah, that was awesome. Or what the hell were you even talking about? Anyway, that's it. I'm done.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.